starts right now.
A man is shot in an apartment late last night. What San Antonio police are saying about his condition.
And Ukraine's stunning counteroffensive likely marks a turning point in the war, what it means for Russia in the coming days.
Outside with live cam, I call this neutral temperature. Not cold, not too warm, just about right for a lot of folks out there. We'll talk about our humidity levels and our continuing chances of rain in the extended forecast. Good morning, everybody. It's Tuesday, the 13th.
Thanks for joining us. Hope you had a good Monday yesterday. And you said not too bad, like not too cold, not too hot, like Goldilocks.
Almost like a Goldilocks kind of temperature. Mike Osterhage is here, and you're not. Do you agree, disagree?
Yeah, I mean, temperatures are kind of so-so. But the one thing, though, yesterday morning we were talking about the low humidity. It was so comfortable out there, and the humidity has returned. So, yeah, it's not as cold. We got down to 69 yesterday, and as of right now, we are, about 10 degrees or so warmer than that. 9 to be exact, 78 here in town. Mid-60s in the hill country. Remember, it got down into the 50s in parts of the hill country yesterday. And here's one of the reasons why these numbers are definitely up. Now, we still have very dry air up there in Comfort. Bernie Stage is pretty nice, Ball Verde, but you get mid and now upperish 60s for these dew points, which means, yeah, it's not that little hint of fall that we had around here yesterday morning. A ton of allergens. Once again, just this whole laundry list of mold and ragweed are both on the moderate side. We'll drop down another, say, 4 degrees or so, 74 when it's all said and done. Mostly clear skies starting off this morning. Then we'll have partly cloudy skies later on today. 1 or 2 showers. There's a small chance for it. Wouldn't get too excited about that. It is going to be hot, though, and you'll feel every bit of that 95 degrees with some of this humidity hanging around here. It's going to stay hot tomorrow as well. Little break in the afternoon in the humidity, so that'll be nice. Then it's going to come back in here and 1 or 2 rain chances as we finish off the week. All those details are coming up in just a couple of minutes. Steph, Mark.
Thank you, Mike. A shooting at the medical center. Police say it happened on the 3rd floor of an apartment complex on Oak Manor Drive. That happened last night. Officers found a victim in his 20s in a hallway. He was taken to the hospital in critical condition. Police say a man was detained at that property. Investigators have also spoken to the victim's girlfriend. A long gun and handgun were also found at the scene, but it's not clear which weapon was used.
As Ukraine gains the upper hand in its fight against Russia, the world is waiting to see what Moscow does next.
Some Russian lawmakers are questioning the war and calling on President Putin to resign. ABC's Justin Finch is following the latest from Washington.
This stunning new video from eastern Ukraine showing what Ukraine's military claims are its fighters ambushing a Russian vehicle as part of its ongoing counteroffensive, which is now forcing many Russian soldiers back into Russia, abandoning large supplies of weapons and entire stocks of ammunition. Hasty actions, the Pentagon says, could be signs of Russia's disorganized command and control.
We're hearing reports of the Russians abandoning and not fighting, threatening to walk away from their positions.
Ukraine says its gains are growing. The country now claiming it's retaken more than 2,300 square miles of its territory, seen here in yellow, larger than the state of Delaware. Ukraine's President Zelensky careful to keep the counteroffensive's next steps under wraps.
I can't discuss details of any military actions. I think that information silence is important.
Slava Ukraine! Across Ukraine, celebration in the streets. Ukrainian troops greeted as liberators. Ukraine's second largest city, Kharkiv, rebounding from Russian retaliation, killing at least 1, leaving crews scrambling to restore power to thousands and even trapping people in subways. Back in Russia, a rare display of dissent. At least 18 local leaders from some of Russia's largest cities have signed a petition demanding President Putin step down, calling his unprovoked war in Ukraine damaging to Russia's future and its citizens. The White House is condemning those airstrikes on Ukraine's infrastructure and vowing continued support for Ukraine. Justin Finch, ABC News, Washington.
A potential massive rail strike on Friday could deal another blow to the U.S. economy. It involves 7 unions that represent more than 90,000 workers at the nation's freight railroads. If they go on strike, it could bring 40% of the nation's freight to a grinding halt. Prolonged strike could lead to empty shelves at stores, temporary closures at factories that don't have the parts they need, and higher prices due to limited availability of consumer goods.
The farewell to Britain's Queen Elizabeth moves forward today. The Queen's casket will be flown to London and taken to Buckingham Palace. Now, King Charles starts today with a brief trip to Northern Ireland to receive condolences before heading to London. Because the Queen died at her summer home in Balmoral, Scotland has been the focus of the world's attention for the first part of Britain's 10 days of national mourning. On Monday, King Charles and his siblings, Princess Anne and Prince Andrew and Prince Edward, walked silently behind a hearse with the Queen's flag-draped casket to a cathedral.
A sign that the painful inflation of the past 18 months may slowly be getting better could come later today. The government expected to report that the acceleration in U.S. prices actually slowed in August compared with a year ago for the second straight month. Economists have forecast that the report will show prices jumped about 8% from 12 months earlier. That's down from a 4-decade high of 9% in June and 8.5% in July. Sharply lower gas prices are behind much of the decline, along with the cost of used cars, airfare, and clothing.
And time now, 4:36 and 77 degrees for now.
The FDA has officially approved over-the-counter hearing aids. We'll tell you when they'll be available and how much they could cost.
And Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott's surgery on his hand is complete. What that means for him and the team for the next few games.
If you have to head out the door here before 5 o'clock, let's check on the roads. 281 at 410. You pretty much have the interstate to yourself. A few more cars at 410 and FM 78. There's 1604 at Pat Booker near Universal City and Live Oak.
And taking a look outside with Live Cam, humidity kind of returning to us a little bit this morning. We're at 77 degrees for now, but it's still not too bad. We'll be right back.
Pro football coverage, powered by Davis Law Firm.
Approaching 4:40, Dak Prescott's surgery to repair a thumb fracture in the lower part of his right throwing hand is complete. So far, though, no timetable has been given for his return, although similar injuries have taken 6 to 8 weeks to heal. Injury happened in the fourth quarter. The Dallas season-opening loss to the Bucs happened when Shaq Barrett was going for a pass block, and he actually hits Prescott in his throwing hand, bending his thumb and fingers backwards. Prescott would leave the game and not return, then appeared at a press conference after the game where our photographer Billy Caldera caught Dak already in a soft cast before his surgery.
Thought I jammed it. I mean, I've hit my hand on helmets or bodies a lot in my career, and never really had anything, maybe a jammed finger here, and I actually thought that's what it was. Just the next play, realized I couldn't grip the ball, let the sideline know. And then when I got off, I told the trainers the same thing. I was just like, I can't grip. I feel like if you yank it, I'll be okay. And no, came in, got x-rays, and things are different.
Now it's Cooper Rush to the rescue again if the Cowboys don't bring in another free agent or trade for a starter. The UTSA Roadrunners will have to face a much improved Texas Longhorns team this Saturday after the Burnt Orange nearly pulled off the upset of the year in college football by almost beating Bama in Austin. The close call did cost Bama its #1 ranking and moved Texas into the top 25 at number 21. This also follows the Roadrunners' incredible overtime victory against Army on the road at West Point. As a result, quarterback Frank Harris is Conference USA Offensive Player of the Week for the second consecutive week. UTSA will need all that magic and then some when they face the Longhorns Saturday night for the first time in school history.
We've got to go in there and do what we do to the best of our abilities and let the chips fly. I know people can't stand it. We don't talk about winning and losing very much here. We just want to do our absolute best. We think we've got enough talent on our roster and we can coach good enough that we'll win more than we lose if we'll just be true to the brand.
Kickoff in Austin Saturday night set for 7 o'clock, and KSAT 12 Sports will be there. The big game and our big game coverage this Friday night features two teams in 12's top 12. Number 5, New Braunfels Canyon hosting number 8 champion out of Bernie. The Cougars coming off a huge win over a rival New Braunfels last Friday night to go 3-0 to start the season. Likewise, the Chargers also coming off a 44-36 victory against Canyon Lake to improve to 2-1. Now these two schools meet to kick off district play in 12 5A Division 1.
We're going to prepare hard like we would for every team. Bernie's a good team. We're going to play fast, play hard, play smart. And we're going to do good.
This is a big game, first district game. If we can pull this one off, we'll probably feel like nobody else can beat us, especially after working hard, putting in the work, watching film, doing our homework.
Kickoff between the Chargers and the Cougars is set for 7 o'clock Friday night up in New Braunfels. And that's a look at morning sports.
And time now, 4:42 and 77 degrees for now. Big day for those with mild to moderate hearing loss. What the FDA wants you to know about new access to hearing aids.
And up next, why there's some doubt brewing as King Charles takes the throne following the passing of Queen Elizabeth.
And welcome back. It is 4:45. As King Charles takes the throne, there are mixed feelings about the future of the monarchy and whether he can hold the Commonwealth together. ABC's Rihanna Nally has the details in today's GMA First Look.
In this morning's GMA First Look, can King Charles III stop the cracks in the Commonwealth?
One of the things that King Charles will need to do is going to be to show them why there are benefits to this kind of union.
Home to approximately 2.5 billion people, the Commonwealth is a voluntary association of 56 independent countries. While Canada has proclaimed Charles as their new king, he was criticized back in May for acknowledging but not apologizing for its historical treatment of Canada's Indigenous peoples.
We must find new ways to come to terms with the darker and more difficult aspects of the past.
And coming up at 7 a.m., Good Morning America is live across the United Kingdom with Amy Robach in Scotland and TJ Holmes at Buckingham Palace. With your GMA First Look, I'm Rihanna Nally, ABC News, New York.
A push for cheaper hearing aids started a few years ago now. Finally, FDA just announced it will soon be a reality.
The FDA has approved over-the-counter hearing aids for those with mild to moderate hearing loss. Courtney Freeman explains how that will change hearing health care and what red flags you now need to look out for.
80% of people who would benefit from hearing aids don't wear them. Some of that is because of stigma.
Even though on a day-to-day basis, you probably couldn't even tell that I was wearing a hearing aid.
Yep, you probably recognize Sarah Spivey as our talented KSAT meteorologist, but she's also very open about her one-sided moderate hearing loss.
But that one hearing aid still costs thousands of dollars. And oftentimes, health insurance doesn't cover the cost.
She knows firsthand the main reason people don't try hearing aids is the cost. Traditional hearing aids ordered through an audiologist run about $1,000 to $6,000 a pair. But now there's about to be another option come October. August 16th, the FDA approved over-the-counter hearing aids that could instead cost between $250 and $1,000 a pair. The rule applies to people with mild to moderate hearing loss over 18 years old.
The whole point here is to increase accessibility and affordability of hearing aids.
Dr. Sreek Cherakuri has been an ear, nose, and throat surgeon for over 20 years and has always advocated for hearing aid affordability. He's thrilled with the FDA announcement, but wants customers to do research before buying over the counter.
It's probably a great idea to get a hearing test, and you can get a free one at many places.
Then make sure the device you're buying is a medical-grade hearing aid approved by the FDA, and make sure they offer a return policy or trial period.
Some studies look at 90% of consumers try 2 or 3 devices before they settle on one.
He says you may have mild or moderate hearing loss if sounds seem muffled, you have trouble hearing in noisy areas or on the phone, you have to ask people to speak more slowly, louder, or repeat themselves, or you turn up the TV or radio volume higher than other people. If you're in that category, Sarah wants you to know trying a hearing aid is worth it.
Be proud of your hearing aids. They make you who you are, and they make your quality of life better.
Courtney Friedman, KSAT 12 News.
And a quick look at the roads with TransGuide, looking out at Loop 410 at Babcock Road, where things are moving at 4:48 a.m.
Mike Osterhage is back with a look at our Tuesday forecast.
Pretty nice, although not quite as, I got to turn this way and look off in the distance here, not quite as good as what it was at this time yesterday, unfortunately, because the humidity has come up somewhat. Had some pretty darn good looking sunsets, though. Wow. That's just, doesn't even look real. Gorgeous out there. We should have a good looking sunrise as well. Just a couple of clouds hanging around here as of right now. Can't really see too much out there at 4:10 right now. 78 degrees, and at this time yesterday we were right around 74 if memory serves me correctly. We did eventually dip down to 69 when it was all said and done. Mid 60s in the hill country. So overall we are up a few degrees compared to this time yesterday. And again, here's one of the big reasons the dew point temperatures are up also compared to yesterday by a good about 4 or 5 degrees. Now, we did hit 93, 95 in Hondo, and 97 down the road in Corpus Christi. So, yeah, nothing just really off the charts, but we're still a couple of notches above normal, and we're going to be in the mid-90s again today all around the metropolitan area, maybe a couple of low 90s mixed in here and there. We'll have plenty of sunshine, a couple of clouds hanging around here. And again, we're not going to get as cool this morning. We'll have a lot of clear skies, just a few clouds out there. 74 we will bottom out at, which is now 4 above normal. Normal low temperatures now down to 70, and then upper 80s as we go through the late morning hours, 87 at noon, and we will be topping off, like I said, at 95. And there's that 10% chance for 1 or 2 stray showers out there. That's pretty much going to be about it. It's just, little spots maybe here and there. All right, quick check of the tropics. And of course, we passed the climatological peak of the tropical season, which was on Saturday on the 10th. And still, other than we had Hurricane Earl, Hurricane Danielle were the most recent, but they fizzled on out a couple of days ago. A couple little spots down here in the Atlantic Ocean that the Hurricane Center is watching as of right now. And that's it. It's a very, very quiet hurricane season as of right now in the Atlantic Basin. So the forecast today going to be 87 degrees, mostly sunny skies, and then a high temperature is going to make it up to 95. So we will be 4 above normal. 1 or 2 of those showers out there. Almost not even worth mentioning. There'll be just little pop-ups here and there. Other than that, plenty of sunshine and enough humidity to where you're going to notice that 95 degrees. We also have an ozone action day in effect for the metropolitan area, Bexar County, and all the surrounding counties. So if you can put off, fill up a tank, something like that, that would help out. And then over the next few days, still hot tomorrow, a little bit of a break in the humidity. Just slightly dry air is going to come in here tomorrow. Then humidity is going to come back in. I'm leaning toward the lower 90s all the way through the weekend, and a couple of showers here or there, primarily along the coast, but 1 or 2 of them could kind of scooch in a little bit further to the west. Yeah, not any big deal as far as rain's concerned, but just 1 or 2 of them out there. So a little bit on the warm side. The normal low temperature is 70. We're going to be right around 74, 75 in the weekend. Yeah.
The big takeaway, though, we have started our slow downhill slide temperature-wise.
Yes. I mean, climatologically, the peak was back on the 16th of August, and we started down there. And in reality, we've been, kind of going in that direction as well.
Good.
Okay,
Good.
we'll take that.
Encouraging. Very encouraging for those of us that love more autumn-like temperatures. Mike, thank you. 452, 76 degrees.
Amazon Prime is canceling one of its series. We're going to tell you why. Plus, Brendan Fraser is honored again.
5 till, another heartwarming moment for actor Brendan Fraser. Plus, Amazon Prime is canceling a series.
The latest one is happening in Hollywood. Here's ABC's Matt Wolf.
You gotta find my tape. Sure, okay. What kind of tape is it? It's a demo tape. We want to play it on the air.
From airhead to Oscar contender, Brendan Fraser scoring another 5-minute standing ovation for his performance in Darren Aronofsky's The Whale. At the Toronto International Film Festival over the weekend, he got a similar reception last week at the Venice Film Festival. And now Oscar buzz swirling around Fraser's performance as a man who's severely obese trying to reconnect with his daughter, played by Stranger Things' Sadie Sink. The Whale officially opens December 9th. Here in New York, Lea Michele bowing out of her Saturday performance in Funny Girl on Broadway after experiencing COVID-like symptoms. On Sunday, she confirmed a positive test and won't return to the stage until September 20th. All this just days after she made her debut in the Broadway revival.
You have no idea what's at stake here.
Yeah, it's the fate of humanity. I get it.
Amazon Prime canceling the series Paper Girls after just one season. The show is based on the popular graphic novel starring Ali Wong, but according to Deadline, producers are shopping the series to other outlets. And happy birthday, Tyler Perry. He's 53 Tuesday. Matt Wolf, ABC News.
And time now, 4:56 and 76 degrees for now.
The days-long touching farewell to Britain's Queen Elizabeth continues today. We'll tell you about her final journey to Buckingham Palace.
And Roku is getting some upgrades, how it is improving sound performance and its software features.
Important news if you're burnt out when it comes to parenting. You are not alone. Ahead on GMSA at 6 later this morning, how you can make things a little bit easier.
And a quick look at the roads with Transky, looking at I-37 at Fair Avenue, where things are moving right now. It doesn't appear to be too many problems on the roadways, but we will be checking in with our Stephen Cavazos very soon.
Live from KSAT 12. Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
The Queen's Coffin continuing its journey down to London. I'm Inez de la Quatera in London, and I'll have all the details coming up.
And a quick look outside with a live cam. We're starting your morning at 76 degrees. Not too bad, but a little bit of humidity in the air.
Good morning, everybody. It's Tuesday, September 13th.
Thanks for joining us. Hope you had a wonderful Monday. It started off nice and cool, almost like fall, a real fall.
Mike says don't expect the same today.
No, unfortunately not. And let me redo my computer right here and click on this quick show. And yeah, it's yesterday we were talking about how just almost crisp. Well, it was actually cool in parts of the hill country yesterday with temperatures that got down to the 50s. We were in the upper 60s for the first time since way back toward the end of June. But yeah, it's a little bit different story as we go into this morning. And well, is my clicker? Come on, clicker. Come on. Well, it's firing up there. Come on. Here we go. There we go. All right. Don't you love computers? 77 right now. Dew point stands at 68. So that number is definitely up compared to what it was this time when we had those dew points down in the low 60s, even some upper 50s. We're going to make it up to 95 later on today. And as far as the aquifer, yesterday's reading, it went down 0.6 of a foot, kind of negated what happened over the weekend. And the allergens, we've just got a whole list of them. Mold and ragweed are both on the moderate side. All right, we're going to have a lot of sunshine today. Not much of a breeze out there, and that is what is prompting an ozone action day just for the metropolitan area. And as far as the allergens, like I mentioned, mold and ragweed are both on the moderate side, just a bunch of them out there. I know a lot of people are starting with some of these fall allergens, getting a little more sniffly. Pleasant, a little bit more humid, though, this morning, as we were talking about. Partly cloudy, hot, and a couple of showers. Just one or two of them out there, not a whole bunch. Then tomorrow, still hot, still mid-90s, almost 5 degrees above normal, slightly less humid. And then as we go into the rest of the week, one or two stray showers out there, just a couple of them here and there. And we're going to be staying right around low, mid-ish 90s, but a bit more humidity as we head on in toward the weekend. All the details in just a couple of minutes. Traffic Authority, good morning, Stephen. Anything cooking yet?
Not yet, Mike. Still pretty early out there, thankfully. 410 at Broadway is looking pretty quiet there at 35 at New Braunfels. We have a few more folks out there getting their morning started early with us, but I would say right now is a perfect opportunity to take advantage of these roadways. You're really not going to encounter any delays, and that's always expected this early. However, we always know that there is that active construction continuing to take place in and around our areas, so we'll bring that information to you a little bit later on. But right now, you can enjoy the drive wherever your destination is going to lead you, because you can see there, again, just some quiet roadways. We take you to the map, and it's the same story out there as well, just some green on the screen. We're really not seeing any of those slowdowns building up on any of the main highways just yet, so great time to, again, get the day started a little bit early. Travel's taking you right here to the Alamo City. It's the same story as well. 24 minutes, that journey from Bernie on I-10 eastbound if you're traveling into the Alamo City. 281 southbound. That traveling in from Bulverde is going to look like 27 minutes at this hour, and it's a 25-minute drive time if you're traveling down I-35 southbound heading in from New Braunfels. So again, things look like they're in great shape. We have an easy start to the morning once again. 410 at Babcock. You can see maybe a few more folks out there, but they're at 10 in Hackberry. Not a lot of activity. Of course, we'll watch the roads closely and have those updates on construction in the next few minutes. Mark, Steph.
Stephen, thank you. Now to late breaking news. Fire crews have been working in and around an East Side home that went up in flames this morning. This is happening in the 2100 block of Hayes Street near North Walters.
Katrina Weber is there with a live report. And Katrina, did everyone make it out safely?
Yes, firefighters say that they found 2 people, 5 dogs, 2 cats, all who had been inside this home. They did have to give oxygen to one of the cats, but they say all people and pets are safe now. The house is not okay. The house has quite a bit of damage to the front side, as you can see there. Firefighters just making sure that the last of the flames are out. They got the call here about 4:30 this morning. They say they found fire mostly on the outside of this house. So that is a reason why they called in fire investigators to have a look. They still have not determined how this fire started. They say that they're not necessarily saying that that is suspicious, but they do have investigators looking into why this fire appears to have started outside this home. As you can see, again, very extensive damage there. The people will not be able to stay here. Firefighters tell us that they are getting some assistance right now from the American Red Cross. But again, this fire it broke out about 4:30. It is out now, but they are still investigating exactly how it started. Reporting live on the east side, Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
Katrina, thank you. Today, applications open for people who've been affected by the Robb Elementary School shooting to apply for the $16 million donated to the Uvalde Together We Rise Fund.
That money is being handled by the National Compassion Fund, an organization developed by the National Center for Victims of Crime that has handled 22 mass casualty events in the past 8 years. The National Compassion Fund helped form a local steering committee that decided with community and victim family input how the $16 million will be dispersed. It's based on 5 categories. Now, number 1, legal heirs of the 21 victims. Number 2, those who were physically hurt. Also, people in the west wing of the school who are experiencing psychological trauma. And those who were shot at the playground and outside of the funeral home. People present elsewhere at Robb Elementary when the shooting started.
They can trust the money is going to get to the people who were directly impacted.
The applications are available both in English and Spanish, and documents will need to be provided to prove eligibility. The application process is open until October 6th. Then each of the applications will be reviewed by that local steering committee.
The fund's distribution plan will be finalized on November 7th, and 1 week later, that money will get into the hands of the people who need it. Once all the money is dispersed, an independent auditing firm will make sure 100% of the funds were given out correctly. Ex-Constable Michelle Barrientos Vela is now waiting to learn her fate. A jury convicted her for altering security records from Rodriguez Park. Now a judge will decide her punishment. But before that happens, witnesses are testifying. The latest witness was former Bexar County Precinct 2 Lieutenant Jeremy Minor. He testified yesterday that deputies were told to slow down the booking process of Leonicio Moreno until the media could capture footage of his arrest. The incident came weeks after Moreno filed to run against the now former constable.
It was something that we were instructed to do, and so we followed the instructions provided.
And who instructed you to do that?
The constable.
Minor is the first of at least 11 witnesses the state plans to call. Barrientos Vela faces anywhere from 2 years probation to 10 years in prison.
Taking a live look outside Buckingham Palace this morning, where it is 11:07 in the morning, a day of major movements as the long goodbye to Queen Elizabeth moves forward. Today, King Charles makes a brief trip to Northern Ireland to receive condolences before heading to London.
The Queen's casket is in Edinburgh, Scotland, where mourners are paying last respects. Later, it will be flown to London as well and taken to Buckingham Palace, the Queen's residence for so long. ABC's Inés de la Cuatera has more from London.
Overnight, a stream of visitors believed to be a mile long, lining up to pay their respects as the Queen lies in rest in Edinburgh for 24 hours. Earlier, the Queen's coffin transferred from the Palace of Holyrood House to St. Giles Cathedral in a solemn military procession. The Queen's children, led by King Charles, following the coffin on foot, while thousands gathered to watch in striking silence.
I just wanted to be here just to show, the family that we care and to show our last respects.
Retired teachers Marion and Ian Clemenson traveling some 200 plus miles to get there.
She meant the world. She was just like everybody's grandmother. She was a lovely woman.
One protester in the crowd removed after heckling Prince Andrew. At the cathedral, the coffin lifted up and carried in for a solemn prayer service, the family then holding vigil for their mother. Many of the Queen's happiest times were spent in Scotland, some saying it's as if she chose to spend her final days there.
And so we gather to bid Scotland's farewell to our late monarch, whose life of service to the nation and the world we celebrate, and whose love for Scotland was legendary.
And this evening, the Queen's coffin will be flown to London. It will then be transferred to Buckingham Palace before it lies in state here at Westminster Hall starting on Wednesday. Inez de la Cuetara, ABC News, London.
5:09 back here at home, 76 degrees on your Tuesday morning.
And still ahead, we're going to tell you about a former special agent that's taking over safety and security protocols for a San Antonio school district.
Outside with live cam this morning, a little bit warmer than yesterday morning as we take a live look at the airport, and traffic starting to build down on Loop 410 below. You're watching GMSA. One San Antonio school district is taking security to another level.
It is hiring a former Secret Service agent. So Special Agent Paul Duran will now take the lead on safety and security protocols for Northeast ISD. He'll go around every day to look at procedures in place. He is also in charge of mandatory drills and making recommendations to campus administration.
You know, my job as law enforcement is to handle an active shooter, and I'll just say active shooter, where his job is going to prevent that active shooter.
And Duran is scheduled to begin his job on October 3rd.
5:13, 76 degrees.
Coming up next, a first look at Samsung's new curved and rotating gaming monitor and how much it's going to cost you.
Ever wonder what everyone's doing on their phones? They're investing with Merrill. Think Miss Allen is texting for backup? No, she's totally in charge of her portfolio and Daniel G. She's building a greener future, and he's running a pretend restaurant. And Phil has questions, but none of them are about his portfolio.
Digital tools so impressive, your money never stops working for you with Merrill, a Bank of America company. What would you like the power to do?
It's the most wonderful time of day.
Claritin provides non-drowsy symptom relief from over 200 indoor and outdoor allergens, day after day. Feel the clarity and make today the most wonderful time of the year with Claritin Clear.
C'est ça que j'adore. Parfum d'eau, the new fragrance, Dior.
At Macy's, the fragrance destination.
In today's Tech Bites, Twitter's whistleblower heads to Washington. The company's former security chief goes before a Senate panel today. In July, Peter Zatko claimed Twitter prioritized user growth over privacy and security. Twitter says the allegations lack context. Roku is revamping its most affordable streaming device. The company is upgrading its Roku Express, which comes with dual-band Wi-Fi for the same price of $29.99. The company also introduced a $130 subwoofer called the Roku Wireless Base. Both items are available for pre-order. Finally, Samsung's enormous new gaming monitor, the Odyssey Arc, is now on sale. The 55-inch curved and rotating Arc debuted in January at the Consumer Electronics Show. The Arc comes with a $3,500 price tag. Maybe you can just build an Arc if you know a guy. Those are your Tech Bites. Have a great day.
I swear I heard somebody in the studio go. The crew.
He's trying.
Or something.
Yeah.
It's possible.
It's all right.
5:18 right now.
Let's go ahead and check in with Stephen Cavazos. Let's look okay. So.
Yeah, that wasn't me, Mark. So I was like, a little perplexed about that one. But you know what I'm not confused about is the traffic that we're seeing right behind us. Let's get a quick look at TransGuide 410 at Broadway. Things look nice and clear out there. 35 at New Braunfels. We have a few more folks again as we get the morning going, really get it going. We start to see the traffic build up. But in some spots there at 37 at Fair, it's still pretty quiet out there. So again, take advantage of these roadways if you are one of those early bird commuters, but I would say don't rush out the door yet. As we take you to the map, it's still pretty quiet. One of the things that we continue to tell you about is that active construction that is taking place in and around the Alamo City. So as promised, let's see what's going to be taking place here off of Loop 410, one of the busier sides of San Antonio. Over on the west side, pavement work that it will actually begin tonight, Tuesday, September 13th, and will last a full week. So plan your commute ahead of time. It is overnight, as I mentioned, 7 p.m. to 5 in the morning. It's during that time you will see alternating main lane closures in both directions from Ingram Road to US 90. So of course that information is on our website at ksat.com/traffic. I am still waiting for our friends at TxDOT to send over a current list of closures, but there are still a few closures that are current and active that you need to be aware of. So we'll be telling you about that during this newscast. Guys.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. I like that. Fall is almost here.
Well, it's kind of pushing things.
Well, just at least the color of the sky.
Okay, skip the caption, because I know that was yesterday and it felt a little more fallish, but yeah.
Mike, did you want a Christmas update? I have the days.
Please don't.
Okay, because as of Friday, it's a Hallmark date.
Oh.
Okay.
You're going to do a countdown?
Yeah.
Please. Hallmark
100 days.
Just in case you're wondering. Uh-oh.
Anyway, how about just count down to Hallmark Christmas shows? So that's fine. We do have a couple of clouds hanging around here this morning. It is noticeably more humid than what it was at this time yesterday, and temperatures are up a few degrees. We are at 77 right now. 73 is both Helotes, Port SA, and even mid and upperish 60s in parts of the hill country where you got down in the 50s yesterday. And these are the numbers that make a difference. The dew points, which in many areas like here in town are up 5 degrees compared to this time yesterday. So, you know, instead of that nice little crisp feel, well, that may be pushing things, but it was much more pleasant when you stepped outside yesterday, so you can feel a bit more humidity, or it's kind of a push in a lot of spots where the dew points, the humidity hasn't changed that much compared to yesterday. So over the next 12 hours, we will bottom out at 74, so 5 above where we were yesterday morning. We did end up at 69. That was the first time since way back at the end of June. 89 at 1 o'clock. We'll be in the upper 80s with plenty of sunshine throughout the morning hours. And then we top off 95. 10% chance for 1 or 2 of those stray little showers out there, which, yeah, you know, a couple of them here or there this afternoon. Count them basically on one hand. That will be about it. And it's going to be a hit or miss type situation. This will go on through the evening hours, and then we should be clearing out somewhat. So here's the situation. That's the front that had put that, that's the low that had pulled the front through here, yesterday, late Sunday yesterday. That's what brought in some of the drier air, and that's sort of retreated. And now this high is going to be taking over the next few days. That little disturbance trying to come in here around that high. That's why we've got that small chance for a shower or two. But then as we go on into the end of the week and the weekend, this high is going to be in a position to throw in just little kind of sea breeze showers there along the coast. 1 or 2 may try and work their way a little further inland, so that's why I've got a small chance for a shower or two Thursday, Friday, even through the weekend, but not a great shot at all. And this thing's pretty much going to be staying in place and sort of setting up shop even late in the weekend and going into next week. This is not a real fallish kind of pattern. I mean, with this flow coming in here, we'll have a lot of humidity hanging around here. You want to see things kind of flip-flopped, and that would be more conducive to trying to get a fall front. As the KSAT Connect picture said, front is almost here, or fall is almost here. Not quite. We got to wait a while. 87 degrees, mostly sunny skies at noon. Then a high temperature is going to make it up to 95. Again, a shower or two. 1 or 2 of them here and there. Tomorrow, 95, small little break in the humidity temporarily. Then we're going to be seeing more humidity come in here later on in the week. Low, mid-ish 90s, and then low 90s over the weekend. A few more clouds, a shower or two, primarily sea breeze variety. But notice how the low temperatures are going to be staying more toward the mid 70s as opposed to 70. That means some more humidity hanging around here.
Are you not already watching Hallmark Christmas movies, or is it
when they have Hallmark in July? So
Hallmark. So you
now a little bit of a break.
You got a little bit of a fix there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right. So I'm not completely in trouble. 5:23, 76 degrees.
And if you missed the Emmys last night, we're going to tell you if your favorite show won and which ones got high praises.
5:26. In case you missed it, last night was television's biggest night.
It was the 74th Primetime Emmy Awards, and as usual, there were some expected winners and a few surprises. CNN's David Daniel has our Emmys wrap-up.
Tonight, we celebrate the hundreds and hundreds of shows that were produced this year, and then we give awards to about 5 of them.
Actually, this year's Emmys were a bit more spread out, though there were some big winners, none bigger than The White Lotus, which led the way with 5 wins, including Outstanding Limited or Anthology Series.
Succession!
The night's biggest nominee, Succession, won Outstanding Drama Series for the second time. Though of its record 14 acting nominations, the only cast member to take home an Emmy was Matthew Macfadyen.
I must say, it really is such a pleasure and a privilege for me to play this bonkers gift of a role in this wonderful show.
Ted Lasso!
For the second straight year, Outstanding Comedy Series went to Ted Lasso. Its stars Jason Sudeikis and Brett Goldstein each won their second Emmys.
I will never take it for granted. It's incredible.
Julia Garner won her third Emmy for Ozark, Zendaya won her second for Euphoria, and Jean Smart won her second for Hacks, her fifth Emmy overall. Squid Game made history as the first non-English language series to win Emmys, taking actor and director trophies in the drama category.
Quinta Brunson, Abbott Elementary.
Some of the night's biggest ovations went to Abbott Elementary. The show's creator, writer, and star Quinta Brunson won a writing Emmy, and supporting actress and a comedy winner Sheryl Lee Ralph stopped the show, drawing standing O's when she won, when she sang,
I am a woman, I am an artist, and I know
and when she spoke.
I am here to tell you that this is what believing looks like. This is what striving looks like. And don't you ever, ever give up on you.
In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
528, 76 degrees.
The investigation into former President Trump continues. The major steps the Justice Department is now taking to include parts of his former senior staff.
Disney is turning 100 years old. We'll tell you about all the new attractions coming very soon to Disney parks. Investigating the riots at the U.S. Capitol, why the U.S. Justice Department says it's a step closer to learning more about what President Trump knew that day.
And taking a look outside with live cam, that humidity is kind of returning this morning, so not as fall-like today.
Good morning. It's Tuesday, the 13th of September.
Thanks for joining us. Hope you had a good Monday. It got pretty warm in the afternoon, but at least, Monday morning was kind of nice, a hint of fall.
Now just a memory, Mike Osterhage.
Yeah, humidity, as expected, kind of came back on in here. Right now we are looking up I-10 in toward the medical center, and looks pretty nice. Got a couple of clouds hanging around here. Temperatures are overall about 4 or 5 degrees above what it was at this time yesterday. 77, and that number, the dew point, the measure moisture in the atmosphere, is also up compared to this time yesterday. And yeah, it's all just kind of a fond memory. We do have an ozone action day goes into effect, and that's for San Antonio, Bexar County, and all of the surrounding counties. If you can put off, say, filling up the tank till later on, that would help out. Mold and ragweed are both moderate. Fall elm, pigweed, grass. A lot of these fall allergens are popping up, and I know a lot of folks are getting a little bit sniffly with all that in the air. Pleasant. Bit more humid this morning, and then later on this afternoon, partly cloudy skies. Yes, it will be hot again. Yesterday we hit 93. We're going to be up to 95 today. 1 or 2 showers out there. Count them on one hand. I wouldn't get really excited about any rain chances. Tomorrow, still hot, slightly less humid. We get another quick break in the humidity, but don't get used to it because it's not going to last all that long. It will be more humid the rest of the week. A couple of stray showers here, low mid 90s, so we will still be a couple of notches above normal. Low temperatures will be staying almost 5 degrees above normal going in toward the weekend. And if you have outdoor plans going in toward the weekend, I wouldn't really worry about any showers as of right now. Details coming up in a couple of minutes. Traffic Authority, what's going on, Stephen?
Hey, well, it's a dry commute this morning, Mike. Thankfully, we get a look around town. 281 at Evans, there at 410 at San Pedro. Same story, guys. Pretty quiet morning right now. So I would say enjoy that cup of coffee at home. Enjoy your breakfast as well. There's really not going to be any delays that we're noticing at this hour. And again, as we give you a look around town, you can see 37 at Jones Avenue. It's quiet. And even by 281 by the airport, if your destination is going to take you out there, hey, take your time, but always make sure that you drive carefully, especially there at 281 at Hildebrand, where we have that curve. So again, not a lot to show you out there, and it's the same situation here on the map, just pretty quiet. If you are going to be traveling into San Antonio, it's going to be some good news for you as well. 28 minutes. It's a pleasant drive, I would say, from 37 northbound, heading in from Pleasanton. Half an hour on Highway 90 eastbound, traveling in from Castroville. And that arrival from Lytle looks like it's 17 minutes on I-35 northbound. So things look pretty quiet and calm so far. Of course, we know things are, there are still those active closures that we mentioned a little bit earlier. We'll be bringing you that information throughout the morning, so stay with us here on GMSA. Guys.
Thank you, Stephen. Updating late breaking news. People, pets, and power lines were all concerns for San Antonio firefighters called to a burning east side home. They say they found fire on the outside of that home, but also caused a lot of damage inside.
Katrina Weber is live in the 2100 block of Hayes Street near North Walters. And Katrina, how did the power lines play into this?
Well, firefighters say during that fire, one of the lines, a live line, came down on a truck that was parked in the driveway. We could actually see the power line sparking as we got here. The firefighters for a while had to steer clear of that area. Still, they were able to work on this fire, which again did cause some pretty heavy damage to this home here in the 2100 block of Hayes. You can see the front of that all burned. Firefighters say that there is extensive damage inside the front of that house as well. They believe that the fire started outside, but they have fire investigators looking into that, into the cause of this fire. Now, there were 2 people, 5 dogs, 2 cats who are all inside the home when the fire broke out. They all got out. Firefighters did have to give oxygen to one of the cats, but all the people and pets are safe now. The people are being helped by the American Red Cross to find another place to stay because, again, very extensive damage to the home. But right now, this is in the mop-up stages. Our fire investigators, have been here, and they are looking into the cause of this fire, which broke out around 4:30 this morning. Reporting live on the east side, Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
Katrina, thank you. This morning, U.S. Justice Department is turning up the heat on former President Donald Trump.
CNN's Amy Kiley reports on 2 of his investigations that involve him.
They're now encompassing individuals closer and closer to the president to learn more and more about what the president knew and when he knew it.
The Justice Department is taking major steps in 2 investigations into former President Donald Trump. Multiple sources familiar with the matter confirm it recently subpoenaed more than 30 of his associates. Among them are Trump's one-time political director, deputy chief of staff, and campaign manager. And the subpoenas go beyond the Capitol riot. They also seek information about Trump's campaign financing and the fake elector scheme.
They work their way up to the top of the pyramid.
A second DOJ investigation involves classified documents seized from Trump's Florida home. The DOJ filed court papers agreeing to one of Trump's picks for a special master to filter out potentially privileged information. Reagan appointee Raymond Dearie was a federal judge and is now a senior circuit court judge.
He's been a well-respected judge for decades, and he served on the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court.
The Justice Department has requested continued access to the documents in that case. Trump insists some of them are personal, so the DOJ says it just wants to see the classified ones to assess any risks to national security.
The Justice Department could have taken a sledgehammer to this judge's prior ruling. Instead, the Justice Department shrewdly took a scalpel to that order.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
In Houston, an off-duty sheriff's deputy working security at a restaurant shot and killed a man who police say attacked the deputy with a tire iron. It happened late Sunday after the restaurant closed. The deputy was one of 2 uniformed off-duty law enforcement officers at the restaurant. According to police, the suspect had been asked to leave earlier, but came back, and when he came back, an employee alerted officers. When they approached the man, he charged the deputy while holding the tire iron. The deputy opened fire. There were no customers inside the business at the time. The deputy was not hurt. Authorities are still investigating that shooting.
Washington, D.C.'s mayor wants its city council to pass legislation codifying a public emergency declaration over the large influx of migrants coming into the city. The city says since April, Governor Greg Abbott and the governor of Arizona have bused 9,000 migrants to D.C. The mayor says some of them were misled about the availability of jobs there. The city says it's spending about $10 million to set up a migrant office and will be seeking reimbursement from FEMA. The council is expected to pass the emergency bill.
NASA pushing back the next launch attempt for Artemis 1's moon rocket. The agency now says the launch will take place September 27th, 4 days later than originally slated. The September 27th launch window is 70 minutes long, shorter than 120-minute window available September 23rd. October 2nd is a potential backup date. The first Artemis 1 launch attempt was scrubbed largely due to an issue encountered during what's being called the engine bleed. It chills the engines for launch. Officials believe it was due to a faulty sensor.
Time now, 5:39 and 75 degrees for now.
Home of the Whopper is getting a $400 million upgrade. We'll show you some of the changes coming to Burger King.
Growing number of states appear on the verge of adopting California's electric car mandate. You can find out if Texas is one of them.
If you're just now tuning in, it's not quite as cool or dry out there this morning as we look back towards downtown. If you look real close, Steph is waving at you right now. Just kidding. We'll be right back. California made history last month when regulators agreed to ban the sale of new gasoline-fueled cars by 2035.
The measure could lead to a major shift across the country. As CNN's Jen Sullivan reports, more than a dozen states could be on the verge of adopting the same electric car mandate.
As California goes, so does the rest of the country. 1 month after the Golden State became the first to ban the future sale of gas cars, more than a dozen states could soon be following suit.
If that group of states that tends to follow California's lead were to do so with this as well, it would be roughly 30% of the population in the U.S. would now be living somewhere where there would be this requirement.
Currently, there are 17 states that already follow California's car emission standards, at least in part. And experts say once the mandate is approved by the EPA, it's likely they'll apply their rule, which requires that by 2035, all new vehicles sold in the state must be electric, hydrogen-powered, or at least plug-in hybrid.
We will move forward to green and decarbonize our vehicle fleet.
Experts say under the Federal Clean Air Act, states must follow the federal government's vehicle emission standards or choose to adopt California's stricter requirements. And a growing number of states appear to be leaning toward the second option, including Washington, Massachusetts, New York, Oregon, and Vermont. Critics of the measure argue it raises big concerns around issues like charging infrastructure, mineral availability, and supply chain issues, and vehicle pricing. The recently passed Inflation Reduction Act aims to help lower prices by giving buyers of passenger vehicles assembled in North America a $7,500 federal EV tax incentive.
And if you install an electric vehicle charging station in your home, you can also get a tax credit.
For today's Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.
And the time now, 5:44 and 75 degrees for now.
Walt Disney Company turns 100 years old soon. We'll tell you about all the changes happening at Disney parks.
And welcome back. It is 5:46 in your morning consumer headlines. Burger King is getting a $400 million upgrade following a rough few years that have seen the fast food giant lag behind its competitors. Now, executives are hoping a major investment in restaurants and advertising will strengthen the brand and spark new growth. Over the next 2 years, they plan to pump $150 million into advertising and digital products and $250 million into updating restaurant tech, kitchens, and remodeling. Key part of the plan is to make diners fall in love with the Whopper again. That includes ensuring consistency and beefing up training on making the best possible Whopper. Burger King will remodel and modernize roughly 800 restaurants and has already changed its logo, packaging, signage, and uniforms.
Disney turns 100 next year, and fans can expect new and exciting celebrations at all of the Disney parks. For the 100th anniversary, Mickey, Minnie, and their friends will sport new looks. A new nighttime spectacular is being developed for Epcot, and a Moana-inspired experience at Epcot called Journey of Water is set to open there late in 2023. In California, two new nighttime shows will debut: Wondrous Journeys at Disneyland Resort and World of Color 1 at Disney California Adventure Theme Park. Also at California Adventure, a new Marvel Multiverse-centered attraction next year will allow guests to fight alongside the Avengers.
Pretty neat. And time now, 5:48. Let's go ahead and check back with Stephen Cavazos. I didn't see too many problems on our cameras here.
No, but there's not really any problems right now. As we get a look there at 281 at Hildebrand, let's give you a wide look, take that drive around town. A few more cars out, though. US 90 at Nogalitos. I always say that's one of the busier spots in town, but you can see it's just getting busy. That's really all that's changed in the last few minutes or so. 281 by the airport was pretty quiet, and there at 410 at FM 78. We did have a crash there yesterday, but right now things look like they are in the clear. Taking it to the map, they look pretty green right there. But also we have noticed the active construction that continues to take place. One of the areas we want to tell you about is here off US 181 in Bexar County, where bridge work will continue at least up until September 19th. So we still have a few days to go, a few nights I should say, because that work's actually going to start at 9 in the evening and should wrap at 5 in the morning. Alternating lane closures in both directions from the Wilson County line to I-37 is what drivers can expect. But once again, that information is on our website at KSAT.com/traffic. Scroll to the bottom of the page. You'll find a full list of closures there. Guys.
Thank you, Stephen.
Thank you. Let's go over to Mike. Oh, it's a little creepy for September.
If you're afraid of spiders, you may want to kind of
look away.
Yeah, look away. But very cool picture, though. And this is our one of our regulars, Yvonne, walking along some of the beautiful banana spiders. And the thing is, just if you see them out, just leave them alone because they take all sorts of little bugs and everything like that.
Didn't we decide years ago that every spider is now called Charlotte? We just automatically go right to Charlotte and her web?
That's fine. So.
Okay.
We'll call that one Charlotte as well. So anyway, thank you very much for that KSAT Connect picture, Yvonne. All right, looking off in toward the hill country. Well, sorry, camera's a little bit out of focus there, but everything's moving along well on 10. We do have temperatures that are up, say about 4 or 5 degrees compared to what they were at this time yesterday. We did bottom out at 69 degrees yesterday, and keep referring to that one because it was such a pleasant morning. That was the coolest temperature, first time we'd been in the 60s since going way back to the late part of June. 68 is the dew point temperature. That number was about 62, 63 at this point yesterday. We had a lot of low 60s and even 50s. Now, comfort is still pretty nice right now at 55, and you want to be below 60. Bernie stage, close to it, so a little more comfortable there, but around the metropolitan area, you're going to notice the humidity a bit more. It's not really that kind of wall of humidity that we've had a couple of weeks ago, but just enough, especially compared to yesterday, and just enough to give us a bit of a heat index here in town. Feels like 79 degrees right now, 75 up the road at Canyon Lake. And we will have somewhat of a heat index later on this afternoon because the humidity, even though it will drop somewhat, still going to be enough to make our high of 95 feel even warmer than that. So KSAT 12-hour forecast, we're going to make it up through the 70s and then mid and upper 80s by late morning. A lot of sunshine around here, a couple of clouds hanging around, and then we'll make it up to 95 for a high temperature later on this afternoon. 10% chance for 1 or 2 stray showers out there, which if you look at computer models, not much. Early afternoon, mid-afternoon, a couple of those little showers popping up here and there. Just 1 or 2 of them. Most of us aren't going to be seeing anything. If you do get one of these, could have a decent little downpour because of some of the extra humidity hanging around here. And then after that, it's pretty much going to be nothing for tomorrow. We will have more sunshine and a quick little shot of some drier air is going to be moving on in here tomorrow. And then the humidity will return after that. So here's what's going on. This high is going to try to throw some of these little disturbances on in here. Then as it slides off to the east a little bit more, northeast of us, that will get us into more of a flow coming in off the Gulf of Mexico. And that's why even in through Thursday and the weekend, can't rule out a couple of sea breeze showers along the coastal plain. 1 or 2 of those may try and work their way a little bit further inland. 87 at noon, mostly sunny skies. High temperature is going to make it up to 95 later on today. Again, 1 or 2 showers. Wouldn't get too excited about any rain chances. It is still going to be on the hot side. Normal high right now is 91. Normal low is 70. So we will still be a few degrees above that. Nothing just ridiculously high, but you want to see more yesterday mornings as opposed to 74, 75 coming up here.
Maybe later. Hopefully soon.
Just a matter of time.
Hopefully sooner than later.
Yes.
Hopefully. Thank you, Mike.
We need an early fall front.
We do.
That would be nice.
It'd be a nice treat. 5:53, 75 degrees.
Look at your winning lotto numbers. Pick 3, 383, Fireball 6, Daily 4, 9593, Fireball 1.
Cash 5 numbers 1, 2, 13, 21, 24. Texas 2 steps 6, 15, 21, 28, 34. And Powerball 6, 14, 16, 34, 66. Powerball 25. Power Play 3. Good luck.
Good morning. Coming up here on GMA, the latest on that stunning offensive by Ukrainian forces, changing the face of the war, retaking large amounts of territory as Russian troops retreat on a key front this morning. We'll have a White House spokesperson joining us live. Also this morning, we are live in the United Kingdom, a nation saying goodbye to the Queen. Thousands of people in Scotland turning out, Charles making his first appearance in Northern Ireland as king, and now what his reign could mean for the future. All that and so much more coming up right here on GMA.
If you're getting ready for the Halloween season, here's something to consider. You can watch horror movies in a haunted house setting in San Antonio. The Terror High Film Festival will be happening at Rolling Oaks Mall. The haunted house is 12,000 square feet. There'll also be rooms for selfies, photos, and short horror films. You can read more about it on KSAT.com. Well, ahead in the next hour of Good Morning San Antonio, a U.S. case of monkeypox turns deadly. We'll tell you where and what health experts are saying. Plus, important news if you're burned out when it comes to parenting. You are not alone there. You can make things a little bit easier. And a new iPhone update is bringing you changes that people have been asking for years. Why accidentally sending a text to someone could be a thing of the past. And Stephen Cavazos is standing by with an update on your morning commute as we head into the 6 o'clock hour. Right now, you're looking at heavier traffic, especially inbound on Highway 281 at Hildebrand, and quite a few more cars coming into the city as well. Highway 90 at Nogalitos. We'll talk to Stephen coming up right here on GMSA.
As Ukraine makes some battlefield gains, some Russian lawmakers are calling for President Putin to step down. I'm ABC's Justin Finch in Washington with the latest on the war in Ukraine next.
Back here at home, San Antonio police say they need your help to find a suspect in a deadly hit and run last month. How much money you could get as a reward.
And taking a look outside with live cam this morning, the humidity coming back just a little bit, so we're at 75 degrees for now.
Live from KSAT 12, Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
And good morning to you. It's Tuesday, September 13th.
Thanks for joining us. I hope you enjoyed yesterday morning. Kind of felt like fall today. Not so much.
Not so much, that's for sure. By the way, we're going to talk to Stephen in just a second. Check on the morning commute. He's right over there grinning at us right now. But Mike is here first.
Feels more like, about mid-August right now, approximately?
Yeah.
The hottest time of the year is the first couple of weeks of August, and we start dropping down. So we're a couple of notches above normal. So, but yeah, yesterday we had actually got down to 69 degrees officially out there at the airport, which is the first time we'd been in the 60s for a low temperature since all the way back toward the end of June. But right now, 76, 65 Comfort, 76 in Rio Medina. And these numbers, dew points, what I was talking about, this is kind of the measure of moisture in the atmosphere, how you figure out relative humidity. And these numbers are up about 4, 5, 6 degrees compared to this time yesterday. Still pretty nice burning stage and comfort. But when these numbers are up, you definitely feel it. It's not as though it's that humidity that sort of pushes back when you open up the door to step outside. But again, it's just not kind of like what it was yesterday. We do have an ozone action day in effect for the metropolitan area. As far as the allergens, mold and ragweed, both on the moderate side, and a whole bunch of others fall down. Pigweed and grass, the updated count's going to come out in about an hour and a half or so. So we will bottom out at 74 this morning, 4 degrees above normal, and then plenty of sunshine, a couple of clouds thrown in, and it's going to warm up quickly, already up to 87 at noon, and then we'll top off today 95. So that's going to be about 4, almost 5 degrees above normal. Couple of showers. Wouldn't really count on it, just 1 or 2 of them out there later on today. We'll see small rain chances as we head in toward the weekend. Wouldn't get too excited about it. And we'll talk about temperatures coming up in just a couple of minutes. Traffic Authority, Steven, it's been pretty quiet in your corner of the studio.
Yeah, but you know what I am excited about is traffic when we can get a picture there. There you go. Not sure exactly what's going on. Our friends at TransGuide could be moving the cameras around. So let's just go ahead and give you a different shot there because US 90 at Nogalitos, you can see it's getting busier. Yeah, sure. We can expect that at this hour at any day of the week. 6 a.m. is usually when traffic does pick up, but it is something to be excited about in terms of the commute because no slowdowns just yet. We take you to the map there, and it's just been a quiet start to this Tuesday morning, so just remember to drive safe. There's no need to rush out the door, even though you do know that there's going to be a lot more vehicles out there. Just remember to drive safe. If you are heading into San Antonio, it's the same story. Just went up a minute, though. Still pretty green, though, I-10 westbound. If you're traveling in from Seguin, right now, 87. We're looking at about a 33-minute drive time in the northbound lanes. If your travels are taking you in from Lavernia. And right now, for our friends in Floresville, looks like a 28-minute drive time at this point. So, as I mentioned, nothing to be concerned about just yet. Of course, we take it back to a busy shot here at US 90 at Nogalitos. We'll watch these roads closely and have some updates coming up in the next few minutes. Mark, stuff?
Thank you, Stephen. 2 people and 7 pets all in search of a new home after an overnight fire. It broke out on the 2100 block of Hay Street near North Walters.
Katrina Weber is there with a live report. And Katrina, is there any word yet on what started this fire?
No, firefighters said that investigators are still looking into the cause of this fire. What we do know is that it caused some pretty extensive damage to this house here behind me. Now, there's one crew here still keeping an eye on things, but the fire is out and has been out for some time. This broke out around 4:30 this morning. We have some video to show you from a little bit earlier as firefighters were still trying to put this out. Now, they say that they got the call here. They found fire mainly on the outside of the house, although it did spread inside and cause some extensive damage to the front of the house. They're not necessarily calling this suspicious just yet, but they're leaving that to investigators to figure out. There were 2 people inside along with 5 dogs and 2 cats, according to firefighters. All of them got out safely, although they did have to give oxygen to one of the cats. Firefighters also had to back off a bit because there was a power line that came down onto a truck that was in the driveway, and they had to keep their distance because it was a live power line, but no one was hurt, and they did manage to get this fire out eventually. But again, no word yet on how it started. Reporting live on the east side, Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
Katrina, thank you. Police say a shooting Monday night in the medical center happened on the 3rd floor of an apartment complex on Oak Manor Drive. Officers found a man in his 20s laying in a hallway. He was taken to a hospital in critical condition. Police say another man was detained at the scene. Investigators have also spoken with the victim's girlfriend. A long gun and a handgun were also found there, but it's unclear which weapon was used in the crime.
San Antonio police and Crime Stoppers are trying to find the driver responsible for hitting and killing a man back in August. Now, this happened on August 17th, just after 9:30 p.m. Officers say Ward McClellan III was crossing Loop 410 on the east side when he was hit by a car. The driver left the scene without stopping to help. If you have any information, you're asked to call Crime Stoppers at number 210-224-STOP. You could get up to a $5,000 reward for the information you provide. Ex-Constable Michelle Barrientos Vela is now waiting to learn her fate. A jury convicted her for altering security records from Rodriguez Park. Now a judge will decide her punishment. But before that happens, witnesses are testifying. The latest witness was former Bexar County Precinct 2 Lieutenant Jeremy Minor. He testified Monday that deputies were told to slow down the booking process of Leonicio Moreno until the media could capture footage of his arrest. The incident came weeks after Moreno filed to run against the now former constable.
It was something that we were instructed to do, and so we followed the instructions provided.
And who instructed you to do that?
The constable.
And Minor is the first of at least 11 witnesses the state plans to call. Barrientos Vela faces anywhere from 2 years probation to 10 years in prison.
Meanwhile, more small towns are seeing fentanyl creep into their communities. In Floresville, police say they've responded to 5 cases so far this year. 3 of those turned deadly after overdoses. Police say they're finding fentanyl and other drugs sold on the streets. The buyer may not even know until it's too late. We've seen a similar problem pop up in Hays County, which includes San Marcos. 6:07 right now as Ukraine gains the upper hand in the fight against Russia. The world is waiting to see what Moscow does next.
Some Russian lawmakers are questioning the war and calling on President Putin to resign. ABC's Justin Finch is following the latest from Washington.
This stunning new video from eastern Ukraine showing what Ukraine's military claims are its fighters ambushing a Russian vehicle as part of its ongoing counteroffensive, which is now forcing many Russian soldiers back into Russia, abandoning large supplies of weapons and entire stocks of ammunition. Hasty actions, the Pentagon says, could be signs of Russia's disorganized command and control.
We're hearing reports of the Russians abandoning and not fighting, threatening to walk away from their positions.
Ukraine says its gains are growing. The country now claiming it's retaken more than 2,300 square miles of its territory, seen here in yellow, larger than the state of Delaware. Ukraine's President Zelensky careful to keep the counteroffensive's next steps under wraps.
I can't discuss details of any military actions. I think that information silence is important.
Slava Ukraini!
Across Ukraine, celebration in the streets. Ukrainian troops greeted as liberators. Ukraine's second largest city, Kharkiv, rebounding from Russian retaliation, killing at least one, leaving crews scrambling to restore power to thousands and even trapping people in subways. Back in Russia, a rare display of dissent. At least 18 local leaders from some of Russia's largest cities have signed the petition demanding President Putin step down, calling his unprovoked war in Ukraine damaging to Russia's future and its citizens. The White House is condemning those airstrikes on Ukraine's infrastructure and vowing continued support for Ukraine. Justin Finch, ABC News, Washington.
Back here at home and looking ahead, pharmacies at University Health will be distributing the new COVID booster shots starting today. Updated boosters are meant to help target the newer strains of the virus. Metro Health offering the updated booster at its pop-up vaccination sites. Metro Health is offering an H-E-B gift card at its pop-up clinics while supplies last. This offer is only available at those special Metro Health clinics, which are listed on their website.
The FDA has finalized a deal to help people with hearing loss. Hearing aids will be available over the counter very soon. It's a big deal because the cost of the medical device could run as high as $6,000 for a pair. The FDA decision could bring that cost down to as low as $250. People over 18 years old would be able to buy a pair if they have mild to moderate hearing loss. This new change begins in October. And happening right now on KSAT.com, after years of hard work and dedication, a small South Texas Latina-owned business made its national debut at Target with an exclusive collection of clothing. Now, this is based in Brownsville. JZD is owned by wife duo Jennifer Serrano and Veronica Vasquez. The couple started the business back in 2016 when Vasquez quit her job to run things full-time. They are now famous for their Latina Power t-shirts, but their new Target collection also offers t-shirts, sweatshirts, hats, and jewelry.
Well, San Antonio say aloha to Hawaiian Brothers, the Hawaiian food chain, getting its first location today in our area. In Live Oak, the chain known for serving island-inspired cuisine like the Hawaiian plate lunch or the chicken or pork macaroni salad, white rice, and veggies. The chain also sells Dole soft serve known as Dole Whip. Festivities get started at 10:30 this morning. The first 100 guests will receive gift cards ranging from $25 to $100. One guest will win free Hawaiian Brothers for a year. Again, up in Live Oak.
Very good. Time now, 6:11 and 75 degrees for now.
Still ahead before 6:30, a new iPhone update bringing new changes that people have been asking for quite a long time. Why accidentally sending a text to someone could now be a thing of the past.
And after the break, a San Antonio school district is going big on their security with help from a former Secret Service agent. What he'll be doing at different schools next.
Outside with Live Cam. Thanks for starting your Tuesday with us here on GMSA as we wait for the sun to come up. Looking at San Antonio International Airport as you're out and about or headed to other cities today. Be safe. We'll be right back. One school district here in San Antonio taking security to another level.
It's hiring a former Secret Service agent. So Special Agent Paul Duran will now take the lead on safety and security protocols for Northeast ISD. He'll go around every day to look at procedures in place. He is also in charge of mandatory drills and making recommendations to campus administration. He will work closely with the district's risk management office and its police department.
You know, my job as law enforcement is to handle an active shooter, and I'll just say active shooter, where his job is going to prevent that active shooter.
Duran is scheduled to begin his job on October 3rd. And school is now in session, but teachers are still needed along with finding new talent. Area school districts are trying to keep the teachers they have.
So they're filing waivers with the Texas Education Agency, or TEA, to ease the teacher shortage. The permits allow qualified applicants to be hired for open spots. However, education leaders say it's a short-term fix. Public education lobbyists worry about the future of the profession.
We need to dramatically increase the support and the rigor in the pipeline so that we can produce more high-quality educators.
Many educators say they know public education doesn't pay well, but they're not happy with the extra out-of-classroom work mandated by the state.
And the time now is 6:16. Let's go ahead and check back with our Stephen Cavazos.
Well, it's been a pretty quiet morning. I was actually looking at some of these TransGuide cameras and found myself just kind of falling into meditation. It's that calm of a morning, guys. Really, 410 at Babcock, you can see there, the commute's not bad at all. In fact, it's been really quiet. It's day 2 of these quiet roadways. Usually we will see traffic pick up, and if you are a resident of San Antonio, you can always expect to see some busy roadways as we get closer to morning rush. But minute by minute, we are seeing those vehicles get out there. Check out 35 at New Braunfels. We have a pretty busy commute already, but thankfully no issues to talk about. It is very calm out there, which is why I said it's been pretty meditating for me, but also tranquil on the roadways. And you can see there on our screen just lots of green. And one of the areas that we want to continue to remind you of is 281, because we know it could be a little bit of a headache navigating through there. Bridge work will continue to take place on Friday, September 16th. So just make sure that you know what to expect out there. It's going to be overnight, so 8 in the evening to 5 in the morning. That's when you'll see the full closure of the intersection right there at Wilderness Oaks. So just drive carefully and, of course, plan your commute ahead of time. That information is on our website, ksat.com/traffic. Scroll to the bottom of the page for a full list of closures, guys.
Thank you, Stephen.
Thank you. And the forecast for our little bus right there.
Well, not bad this morning. You know, definitely don't need a jacket. And even in the hill country where you probably needed one yesterday, you know, we keep referring to that because it was so nice little treat. But we'll bottom out at 74 degrees. Mostly clear skies here in town. And then a high temperature today, yep, it is going to be on the hot side. The average this time of year is 91. So we're going to be 4, almost 5 degrees above that. 1 or 2 showers out there. Wouldn't really count on it. That's going to be later on in the afternoon and then going into maybe about dinner time. Interesting picture, and it may be kind of hard to see here, but a lot of folks had called in about this, what they saw last night, and this line of all these little, almost looks like little stars up there. Well, this viewer took a picture and said it is the Starlink satellite train. It was launched on Sunday, and those are the little satellites getting into position there. Very cool looking. Thank you very much for the KSAT Connect picture. All right, we are looking out there by the airport right now. Got a lot of clear skies. Traffic on 410 is moving along pretty well. Here's the Climate Prediction Center outlook for next week. And this isn't saying it's going to be, it's kind of the odds of whether it is going to be on the hot side or on the cool side. And this shows a pretty good chance, good odds that we are going to definitely be on the warm side, especially in the northern portion of the state and heading up in toward the mid-south. Also, let me go back to that very quickly. It is going to be somewhat kind of a push, if you will, about right in the middle as far as odds of seeing any precipitation during that time period next week. Now, going further into the weekend, last weekend of the month, actually, we are going to be once again a little bit leaning toward being on the warm side of things, and also kind of a push, if you will, as far as the amount of rain. We can expect normal rainfall, but not everywhere. So that's not really an encouraging forecast as far as an early fall, nor any sort of abundant rain. 67 degrees right now is the dew point temperature, which is actually up compared to yesterday. And look at that, 69 right there. Randolph, Port SA, Stinson. And yeah, that means we got a somewhat of a heat index to deal with in some areas. And as far as the 12-hour forecast, we're going to make it up through the upper 70s and into the mid 80s by late morning, 87 at noon. Then we top off 95. That chance, 10% chance for just a couple of showers out there, which computer models, again, through early afternoon, not much, and then by mid to late afternoon, a couple of them popping up here and there, very few and far between. If you get one of these showers, fantastic. Could have an okay downpour here and there, and those will start to fizzle out once we get into the evening hours and the sun goes down. So the forecast today, 87, mostly sunny skies at noon. Then a high temperature is going to make it up to 95. Couple of showers here and there. Tomorrow, slight break in the humidity. It'll drop just a bit so that 95 won't be quite as uncomfortable as today. 93 then Thursday, Friday. I think a couple of more clouds hanging around here, as well as some more humidity end of the week going into the weekend, with a shower or two primarily along the coastal plain, along the sea breeze.
Very good. We'll just wait for the cooler weather.
Looks like it's going to be a while.
Okay. Thanks, Mike.
621, 75 degrees on your Tuesday.
And just ahead, a Twitter whistleblower is expected to testify in Congress today about security and privacy. We're going to look at why the company is in hot water next.
I'm getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20.
So am I, because I'm at risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. I'm asking about Prevnar 20 because there's a chance pneumococcal pneumonia could put me in the hospital.
If you're 19 or older with certain chronic conditions like COPD, asthma, or diabetes, you may be at an increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Prevnar 20 is approved in adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia in just one dose. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. The most common side effects were pain and swelling at the injection site, muscle pain, fatigue, headache, and joint pain.
I want to be able to keep my plans.
That's why I chose to get vaccinated with Prevnar 20. Because just one dose can help protect me from pneumococcal pneumonia.
Ask your doctor or pharmacist about getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20 today.
New this morning, Twitter's whistleblower is heading to Washington to testify before Congress over security and privacy issues. In July, Peter Zatko claimed the company prioritized user growth over privacy and security. Twitter says the allegations lack context.
Roku is revamping its most affordable streaming device. The company is upgrading its Roku Express, which comes with dual-band Wi-Fi for the same price of $29.99. The company also introduced a $130 subwoofer called the Roku Wireless Base. Both items are available for pre-order.
Samsung's enormous new gaming monitor called Odyssey Arc is now on sale. The 55-inch curved and rotating Arc debuted in January at the Consumer Electronics Show. Comes with a $3,500 price tag. Finally, Apple's latest software update giving people changes they've been asking for years.
With the update, you can now edit and unsend recently sent text. You can also mark iMessages as unread if you want to come back to them later. Another new feature is the interactive lock screen. It gives users the ability to create different backdrops on your background that can be switched out during the day.
Right now, it's exactly 6:26, 75 degrees.
And still ahead at 6:30. If you've ever felt burnt out when it comes to parenting, well, you're not alone. How you can make things a little easier.
Plus, applications are open for those affected by the Robb Elementary shooting to apply for $16 million donated to the Uvalde Together We Rise Fund. How you can get started coming up.
And a quick look at the roads with TransGuide, looking there at I-35 where things are moving. People are getting out there on the roadways. There's Loop 410 at Broadway. We'll be checking in with Stephen Cavazos very soon.
People and pets are sent running from this east side home when it goes up in flames overnight. Good morning, I'm Katrina Weber. I'll tell you what also had firefighters keeping their distance.
Also this morning, a railroad strike is threatening to derail the U.S. economy in the near future. We're going to tell you what's going on and when it could happen.
Yeah, that could be a very big deal. And outside with live cam right now, waiting for the sun to come up. We are a little bit closer to that. It's not bad out at the airport and heavy traffic. Stephen is standing by for a traffic update.
Hi, good morning. It is Tuesday, September 13th. Thanks for joining us.
Yes, Mike Osterhage is to our media right now with an update on our Tuesday commute. Do we still have a chance of rain in our overall forecast, Mike?
You know, a couple of showers today and then really going in toward the latter part of the week and the weekend, you know, one or two of them primarily along the coastal plain. That's going to be about the extent of it. All right, here's out there at the airport. First of all, traffic over there 410 in both directions moving along very nice. We can't really see the clear skies too awfully well, but they're definitely out there. And we've got 76 degrees and dew point is still at 67, which is about 5 degrees above what it was at this time. It was so pleasant when you step out yesterday. Now, this is not sort of like walking into a wall of humidity when you go outside, but it's not quite what it was yesterday, and temperatures are also up. I think we'll drop down another couple of notches here and there. As far as in the hill country, low 60s, Bernie Stage 61, 63, Kerrville 55, as these are dew point temperatures out there, and those have also gone up compared to yesterday. So everybody's just a little more humid. We do have an ozone action day in effect for Bexar County and the surrounding counties, the metropolitan area. Mold, ragweed are on the moderate side, fall elm, pigweed, grass. Maybe the reason why a lot of folks are sniffling somewhat this morning. Pleasant, but slightly more humid than what it was yesterday. Partly cloudy this afternoon, hot and a couple of showers. 10% chance, one or two of them out there late afternoon, dinner time into the early evening. Tomorrow, hot. Is there going to be a shower off to the east? Perhaps, but a little bit less humid. So it'll be slightly more comfortable. Again, still hot though. We're looking at mid 90s. And then the rest of the week, one or two of those stray showers primarily off to the east and low 90s. But it is going to feel more humid even toward the end of the week and going in toward the weekend. Details coming up in just a couple of minutes. Traffic Authority, Stephen, what's the latest?
It's been quiet all morning long, Mike. And listen, no one is complaining about that. In fact, this is really good because the commute is getting busy now. We are basically entering morning rush. And at this point, there's not really going to be a need to rush out the door. You can see 281 at Hildebrand. It is getting busier. Of course, watch out for that curve there. And 90 at Nogalitos, one of the busier spots in San Antonio. So folks are making their way into the Alamo City. Maybe the only delay you'll encounter at this point is going to be at that coffee line because you're really not going to see it there on the map just yet. In fact, right now, if you are traveling down 90 heading in from Castroville, looks like you're in the clear there. No delays just yet. But I did notice a little bit of yellow that was already starting to build north of 1604 near Stone Oak along 281. That's always expected. It's usually a travel area that we tend to see more vehicles go through because a lot of folks are making their way in from Bulverde. So just be careful out there. Keep in mind there is that bridge work that still takes place. But as we take it back to TransGuide, the commute just getting a little bit busier. It's been a quiet morning so far. Of course, we'll watch the roads closely and have those updates for you throughout the morning. Mark, Steph.
Thank you, Stephen. Fire investigators are trying to figure out what caused an east side home to go up in flames overnight.
They sent 2 people and 7 pets all running from the home in the 2100 block of Hay Street near North Walters.
Katrina Weber is there with a live report. Katrina, you mentioned earlier that firefighters did have to give one of those pets some extra attention.
That's right. They said they had to give that cat a little bit of oxygen as they brought it out of the house. Now, they told us that all 7 pets, 5 dogs, 2 cats, made it out safely, along with the 2 people who live here. However, I talked to the woman who lived here, and she says she is still missing some of her animals. The house also took on quite a bit of damage this morning. The fire broke out around 4:30 this morning, and firefighters had a bit of a tough time due to a power line. Let me give you a look at the video so you can see exactly what they were facing when they got here. They say that there were flames on the outside of the house. They also caused damage to the interior of the house. Firefighters say a power line came down in the middle of all that, landed on the truck that's in the driveway, and they had to back away from it because that line was live, so they had to get away for their own safety. But they did manage to put out the fire. Investigators were called in to try to figure out how it started because, again, they say it does look like it started on the outside of the house. But so far, we have not heard anything definitive from them in terms of the cause of this fire. But again, 2 people, 7 pets now displaced because of this overnight fire. Reporting live on the east side, Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
Thank you, Katrina. This morning, San Antonio police and Crime Stoppers are trying to find a suspect responsible for a robbery at Walmart. It happened a few days ago on September 9th. Officers say that the male suspect that you see in this picture here stole stuff from the Walmart on Bandera Road before being handcuffed by a security guard. The man turned around to display a knife in his hand, and we're told the security guard let him go. If you have any information, you're asked to call Crime Stoppers at number 210-224-STOP. You could get up to a $5,000 reward for the information you provide.
Today, applications are open for people who have been affected by the Robb Elementary School shooting to apply for the $16 million donated to the Uvalde Together We Rise Fund.
That money is being handled by the National Compassion Fund, an organization developed by the National Center for Victims of Crime that has handled 22 mass casualty events in the past 8 years. The National Compassion Fund helped form a local steering committee that decided with community and victim family input how the $16 million will be dispersed. It is based on 5 categories: legal heirs of the 21 victims, those who were physically hurt, people in the West Wing of the school who are experiencing psychological trauma, those who were shot at on the playground and outside of the funeral home, people present elsewhere at Robb Elementary when the shooting started.
They can trust the money is going to get to the people who were directly impacted.
The application is available in both English and Spanish, and documents will need to be provided to prove eligibility. Application process is open now through October 6th. Then each of those applications will be reviewed by that local steering committee.
The fund's distribution plan will be finalized on November 7th, and 1 week later, that money will get into the hands of the people who need it. Once all of the money is dispersed, an independent auditing firm will make sure 100% of the funds were given out correctly.
We have a developing story this morning that can have a major implication for the entire U.S. economy.
More than 100,000 railroad workers are threatening to go on strike. ABC's Derek Dennis reports on what's at stake and who's trying to intervene.
This morning, urgent talks in Washington to avoid a rail strike as unions representing engineers and conductors negotiate with the nation's biggest freight railroads. Passenger service, supply chains, jobs, and supporting industries could be crippled, costing the economy an estimated $2 billion per day. The deadline for a deal, 12:01 a.m. Friday. Some long-distance Amtrak service could be suspended as early as today.
Obviously, a railroad strike at this point in time would be extraordinarily detrimental to our economy and to the American people, and we want to avoid that.
Congressman Steny Hoyer among several lawmakers working to avert a strike over worker pay, health care, and other issues. There was a tentative deal which would have delivered workers a 24% raise, but two union holdouts released a statement accusing the railroads of using shippers, consumers, and the supply chain of our nation as pawns in an effort to get our unions to cave into their contract demands and calling it corporate terrorism. President Biden said to be in direct talks to avoid a strike, which could mean ordering workers to stay on the job.
The president has certain authorities that he can exercise. The Congress can also pass legislation.
The threat of higher costs coming as inflation shows signs of easing. Today's report from the Labor Department is expected to show the inflation rate dropped to 8.1% in August, down from 8.5% in July. Consider this, railroads carry 40% of the nation's long-haul shipments, so a railroad strike stops those goods literally in their tracks. Derek Dennis, ABC News, New York.
In other headlines, health officials have confirmed the first known monkeypox death here in the U.S. The CDC says a Los Angeles County resident with a severely weakened immune system died after being hospitalized with the virus. No other details were provided. A person with monkeypox in Harris County also died last month, but officials haven't confirmed the virus's role in his death. Babies, pregnant women, and those with weakened immune systems are most vulnerable for severe illness.
NASA is pushing back the next launch attempt for its Artemis 1 moon rocket. The launch will now take place on September 27th, 4 days later than originally scheduled. This launch window is 70 minutes long, shorter than the 120-minute window available on September 23rd. October 2nd is a potential backup date. The first Artemis launch attempt was scrubbed largely due to a faulty sensor.
Just about 6:40, 75 degrees on your Tuesday.
And just ahead, important news if you're burnt out when it comes to parenting. You are not alone. After the break, how you can make things a little easier. And welcome back. It is 6:43. Parental burnout is nothing new. Throughout history, moms and dads everywhere have experienced stress and anxiety associated with parenting.
But COVID has brought on a whole new set of issues, and as Sarah Costa reports, parental burnout is on the rise.
Homeschooling, soccer games, dinner time, science projects, sleepovers, baseball tournaments, snack time, carpool, financial stress, all this while dealing with the pandemic.
Just so much uncertainty right now in the environment, and our research suggests that uncertainty is really, really draining.
Now, a new study out of Ohio State University found 66% of working parents meet the criteria for parental burnout. Unchecked parental burnout is associated with depression, anxiety, increased alcohol consumption, and punitive parenting practices.
I'd recommend, again, for everyone to sit down and do an audit, to think about, okay, if I looked at my life like a strategic plan, what are the things that are important to me? And how can I offload perhaps the things that are draining me but are not so important?
Researchers suggest parents take 5 to 10 minute recovery breaks for stress relief throughout the day. Research shows if you can't get enough sleep at night, 20-minute power naps can reduce stress. Also, 30 minutes of aerobic exercise a day can decrease mental exhaustion, improve mood, and cognitive flexibility. The report found parental burnout was increased in households with 2 or 3 children, plateaued with 4 or 5 children, and increased again with 6 or more children. Women were also more likely to report burnout than men. Sarah Costa, KSAT 12 News.
Time now, 6:45.
Let's check on traffic. Stephen Cavazos is right there.
Yes, I've been watching the roads very closely throughout the morning. Thankfully, it's been pretty quiet from what we're seeing on TransGuide. 37 at Fair Avenue looks pretty fair to me, but 281 at Evans, you are seeing more folks making their way out on the roadways, so just watch out. You're going to have a busier commute at this point, but as I mentioned, it's been quiet here on TransGuide, but I can't say the same from what we're seeing on the map, guys. Unfortunately, it is getting busier, so that does mean we're going to see some slowdowns. Usual spots, though, US 90, if you're traveling in from Castroville in those eastbound lanes, expect a little bit of a delay at that point, but that's normal. What popped up there, though, you can see it. It's blinking there on your screen near the northeast side. We have a crash, our first one reported of the morning, and it's right there along I-35 southbound near Walsham Road. As I was looking at this area closely, I got to get our friends at TransGuide on the phone to see if we have a camera out there to give us a shot of the conditions. But thankfully, what we are seeing right now on the map is no delays. However, if you are going north on 35 toward 410, you'll likely see an issue there because there's a little bit of yellow that's building up there. But watch out, though. We are going to watch the areas closely. We take it back to TransGuide 410 at Babcock. It does look like commute is getting busy, but of course, we're going to watch the roads closely. And as always, make sure you do the same.
Stephen, you have a bit of a monopoly there, and it's a nice thing. With your TransGuide cameras, you always give us a nice preview of that sunrise.
Yes. But the man with the big picture there.
Nice picture, though.
Yeah, Mike
That
always
one-
takes the cake.
Yeah, well, it's our viewers are sending these KSAT Connect pictures, and that is just absolutely gorgeous. Wouldn't you love to have that like a mural painting or something and just stare at that for hours? It is so peaceful with that horse right there. Thank you very much for the KSAT Connect picture. Why are horses so soothing and tranquil, you know? Just love it. So, all right, here's a good view out there by the airport. And again, traffic's moving along fairly well. 76 degrees in town, 72 Castroville, mid-60s Hill Country. Everybody is up about, on average, 5 degrees or so from where it was at this time yesterday. And here's one of the big reasons. These numbers, dew points, are up about 4 or 5 degrees compared to this time yesterday. So it's not that coolish morning. As a matter of fact, well, right now, 4 degrees above at this time where we were with dew point temperatures, 5 at Pleasanton. Some areas are kind of a push as far as the dew points are concerned. So that's not allowing us to get as cool this morning. And so we'll stay at 74 degrees as opposed to 69 where we were yesterday. And we'll make it through the mid-upper 70s and then mid-80s by late morning, 87 at noon, and up through the 90s then, and 95 for a high temperature. 10% chance for a couple of showers out there, just 1 or 2 of them, which computer models are indicating later on this afternoon. A couple of models, short-term models, are in agreement with this, that we'll see 1 or 2 of these popping up around there. And if you do see one of these showers, could have a quick, decent downpour, but otherwise, most of us aren't going to be seeing anything, and that will be the situation especially going into tomorrow. I think there may be just 1 or 2 of the showers, especially along the coastal plain, and then a couple of more by later on in the week. More on that in just a moment. If you don't have rain today, and obviously if you get a couple of showers, could have some breezy conditions out there, but mostly it's going to be kind of on the tranquil side, the calm side, and dare I say stagnant. That's why we do have that air quality health alert, the ozone action day in effect today. Here's the high, which that's the one that's been pushing in some of these little disturbances coming around that clockwise rotation. Still the situation today. And then as that kind of scoots on in here a little bit more off to the east and to the northeast, that's going to kind of put a lid on that for tomorrow. And then it moves over to the east a little further, and we get this flow coming in here off of the Gulf of Mexico. That's going to throw in a couple of showers. Can't rule it out each and every day. I think going into the weekend, primarily along the coast, 1 or 2 could scoot in a little bit further to the west. And that high is going to pretty much kind of take over going into next week. And that means it's going to be staying pretty much on the hot side going into most all of next week. Above normal temperatures. Normal high right now is 91. We're going to be at 87 at noon, mostly sunny skies, and then top off with a high temperature of 95 with 1 or 2 of those showers out there. The normal low this time of year is 70, so we're definitely going to be above that. And when you get those low temperatures staying a good 5 degrees above normal, as will be the case close to the weekend, that's a good indication of some more humidity around here. So a couple of degrees above each end of in the respective normals, and a shower here or there over the weekend. So just kind of a sort of forecast, I guess.
Yeah, it's not super exciting, is it?
Not really. No great rain chances. You know, thank goodness nothing too extreme as far as temperatures on the high side, but nothing that
Also
screams
true.
fall either.
Also true.
Not yet. Not yet.
No, not yet. It'll come.
Thank you, Mike. 6:50 right now, 75 degrees, and we have a beautiful sunrise alert, folks.
Yes, it's looking gorgeous out there.
But we're withholding it from you.
Yes. I wish we could show Steven's cameras. We were sneaking around and looking at Steven's cameras.
Are you going to move it, Mike?
Let's see. Let's see if we can see it. So you can appreciate it like we are.
Here we go.
Here we go. Here we go.
There you go.
Thank you, Mike.
Yeah.
Oh, way too far.
That's not gorgeous.
Good morning. Coming up here on GMA, the latest on that stunning offensive by Ukrainian forces, changing the face of the war, retaking large amounts of territory as Russian troops retreat on a key front this morning. We'll have a White House spokesperson joining us live. Also this morning, we are live in the United Kingdom, a nation saying goodbye to the Queen. Thousands of people in Scotland turning out, Charles making his first appearance in Northern Ireland as king, and now what his reign could mean for the future. All that and so much more coming up right here on GMA.
Coming up today on GMSA at 9, an organization working with Texas A&M San Antonio to increase student participation in elections.
I encourage students to get educated about voting, to really learn the importance of their votes.
Why the local coordinator of this organization says the solution to issues that students are facing now only comes from voting.
That story and more today on GMSA at 9 with Max and Tiffany. Well, happening now on KSAT.com. If you're getting ready for the Halloween season, here's something to consider. You can watch horror movies in a haunted house setting in San Antonio. The Terror High Film Festival, yes, that's a thing, be happening at Rolling Oaks Mall on the northeast side. The haunted house is 12,000 square feet. There'll also be rooms for selfies, photos, and short horror films. More online at KSAT.com.
I believe this is something that Stephen Cavazos would like to check out.
Oh yeah, that's a countdown I will definitely take part in. But you know what's not spooky is traffic. Thankfully, as we get a look there at TransGuide 281 and Loop 410, things look great. In fact, if you're driving by the airport, no need to rush. However, we did have one incident off of I-35 going in the northbound, in the southbound lanes there at Walsham Road. I did call our friends at TransGuide. We don't have a camera that's showing an incident out there, but nonetheless, drive safe. Of course, we are seeing a buildup taking place in the northbound lanes. It is getting busier out there, but at least we leave you with a beautiful shot here from TransGuide, Mike.
Yeah, and to add to that beautiful view, take a look at this one. That's absolutely gorgeous. A couple of clouds still hanging around here this morning, and we're at 77 degrees, 64 Comfort, 71 Helota, 67 up the road in Bulverde. Ozone Action Day for the metropolitan area, and throughout the day, we're going to make it up to 87, mostly sunny skies. At noon, 95 high temperature, one or two of those showers out there. I really wouldn't get too worked up about any rain chances. It's going to stay hot tomorrow, although a slight drop in the humidity, then humidity returns end of the week. A couple of showers here and there, primarily along the coastal plain, but other than that, it's going to stay kind of warm and humid.
What a pretty start to the day.
Yeah, go outside and check it out. Have a wonderful day. We'll see y'all tomorrow.